Coming up on today's show, we've got our spoiler-free review of Thor, Love and Thunder.
We'll be speaking to everyone's favourite Valkyrie, Tessa Thompson.
And we'll be telling you about all the other films you can see at Cineworld cinemas this week. Welcome to What's On at Cineworld Cinemas. I am Luke Owen.
And I feel a thunder in my heart. Dan Layton.
Dan, we have literally just come out from seeing...
Moments ago.
Thor, Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder.
This is the second time you have seen the film.
Thor 4 for its gore. I've seen it twice now, yes, that's
because
true.
You are very special.
Hugely special.
So you got to see it on Tuesday and you got to see it today.
That's the more special one because we shared it together.
But my question is, we're going to dive straight in.
Okay.
None of the preamble nonsense.
None of the namby-pamby.
And just to remember, we're keeping this spoiler-free.
Spoiler-free.
It's a spoiler-free review here. But Dan.
Yeah.
What did you think of the film?
It was an interesting experience for me because the first time I saw it, I had all of these, you know me, I love Thor, I'm very excited. I was kind of a little bit like, oh, this isn't the film that I imagined it would be, but I'm enjoying myself, so I'm going to give myself over to it and have a nice... This time around, I enjoyed it way more. So I think going in with very few expectations is actually really, really good because it's a beautiful film. It looks gorgeous. There's a lot of really fun moments in there. There's one sequence in particular that I think is outstanding.
It's stunning.
And especially coming hot off the heels of a few sequences in Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, it's some really interesting visual flair for the Marvel movies. So yeah, I'm very keen.
Because I really enjoyed it. I had a very, very good time watching it, and I'm really looking forward to subsequent rewatches of the movie using my unlimited card.
Hey!
But at times, like you, because I went in with an expectation of what to expect.
Yeah.
And it wasn't quite that at times. Like I think the first 20 minutes or so were a bit messy, and I wasn't really sure where we were going.
Yeah.
And then the film sort of finds its feet.
Yes.
It's sort of like trying to follow on from the setup of Endgame, or the end of Endgame, and what they're trying to set up for this, but kind of like what the direction Taika Waititi actually wants to go in. So you kind of deal with that over here, and then we go off into this direction. And I think once we get into that bit, the film sort of finds itself and actually becomes a much more coherent movie, and that sort of drama narrative and a sort of like emotional narrative really kind of grabs hold of the movie and kind of runs towards the end goal.
And I think having now seen it twice, I kind of understand certain choices that are made in the first act. So by saying that, what I'm saying is, if you feel like, I'm not really sure what this is doing, it is doing something. You know, it has a cohesiveness, like you say, that comes around in the end, which I appreciate the thought that's gone into it.
Thor.
Hey. Very good.
Thank you very
well
much.
Done.
And I very much enjoyed all of the characters. I loved Thor. I loved Jane Foster.
Yeah.
I loved Korg.
Yeah.
I loved Valkyrie. I loved the fifth character, relationships.
Oh, and there were so many. Can I specifically shout out the relationship between Valkyrie and Jane? Because I think it was really lovely to see it. And I think there was that... moment in Endgame where all the women are like, we're
sisters
all women
are doing
together.
It for themselves.
They really were, and it was in the moment. It was like, oh, cool, and then you sit with it a little bit, and you're like, maybe less cool. Maybe that was a bit corny. And this kind of makes up for that in some ways because there's a real, true sisterhood. And actually, I've just read that a couple of the scenes between Natalie Portman and Tessa Thompson were improvised. So it's a very real, connection that these two actors have together, and the characters have it too. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's quite nice. Yeah, there's theme of relationships kind of runs deep within this. Obviously, this is reuniting Thor and Jane Foster, who haven't been together on screen since The Dark World,
which is a really good movie.
It's comfortably the worst movie in the MCU.
Incorrect.
But we'll agree to disagree. And that was a long time ago. It was like, what, 2012, 2013?
I just moved to London.
Really? 2014?
2013.
Yeah, 2013. So that's a long time that we haven't had those two together. And instantly, like, the chemistry is sort of right back there together again. It's delightful to see.
Jane's shadow has sort of been there, because there's a mention of her in Ragnarok, and they mention her in Endgame, and so she's not left, even though Natalie Portman hasn't been around. So it is very much like, a really core part of Thor's story.
There's always that existing footage that just slides into other movies.
Right. Because and that's another thing in The Dark World. It is beautiful. They have moments on the balcony. It's very romantic. Oh,
yeah. But anyway, bad film. But this what I thought was a really good film because you got like that relationship there. You've got sort of Valkyrie's relationship with becoming king of Asgard. But I really a relationship I was not expecting in the movie is Thor and the Hammer.
Yeah, it's the Hammer and Stormbreaker, the axe, are both.
It's like he is literally meeting up with his ex and also his ex-weapon.
Yeah.
And there is like they actually give them characters.
Anthropomorphic.
They anthropomorphize
Yeah.
these what were once just inanimate objects that we used to do.
They always
smashy
had
stuff.
an element of their own sort of magic.
This is literally they've given them faces almost at this point, and I think that's some of the better laughs in the movie are kind of those moments.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like and it's from the off because this is a very early, so this isn't, I would class anything that happens in the first 15 minutes for me not a spoiler.
Or anything that's in a trailer.
There's a moment where, you know, he's planted and then plucks Stormbreaker out of the earth and it's got sort of roots, so that which ties in with the idea that it's from Groot. It's alive. These things feel alive. They have feelings and you know, they're acting with their own kind of agency, which is really interesting, and you know, they're very central to the plot of the whole film. So that's it's a really interesting point.
Yeah,
well done.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of this that I really, really liked, particularly that sort of relationship stuff. I think not every joke in the movie lands.
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken about this before. I'm not a fan. I love a little bit of comedy here and there. It's very important to have humour in there to keep these things light, not taking yourself too seriously, but taking the source material seriously. And I think sometimes, this is a common thing with Taika's movies, is that the comedy is a little bit too much. You can pull back a little bit. I found that, again, less the second time round. In the first time round, I was like, stop with the jokes so much. This time around, I was like, no, I can see why that joke serves there, that joke serves there. There's one or two where I'm like, hard no, I would cut those completely. But they both screenings got a giant laugh from the audience. So, you know.
I think Hemsworth is his very Hemsworth in this movie.
Mama.
Yeah, obviously there's that scene that's in the trailer.
Yeah.
With his butt on show. But like that scene's fairly long.
There's a lot of skin in the movie.
Yeah, and it's not just Russell Crowe.
And I'm not mad at it. And he's got a lovely skirt on. That's okay.
I actually really liked all of that stuff as well.
Me too.
Yeah,
I think
really
that whole
enjoyed
sequence,
that.
there's a whole sequence, you know, again in the trailer, so it's not spoilers, the whole sequence with the gods, and Russell Crowe is having a great time.
He is.
And it's a great character.
Yeah, chewing up all levels of scenery.
And he's given real stuff to work with. It's not just a cameo. He's got some really interesting things within his character and what he's saying that I'm a big fan of.
Same for Christian Bale, actually.
Yes.
The big criticism against the MCU, which I do agree with, particularly in the first, second, and potentially third phase, is that a lot of villains were just kind of superfluous. They were there because this film needs a villain.
Yeah, you need an antagonist in some way, shape, or form.
Whereas I think like some of the more recent ones we've had have done really well with those. Like I think No Way Home had, you know, a whole rogues gallery and stuff, and they did great work with the Green Goblin. I think that Multiverse of Madness is great with the Scarlet Witch.
Thanos, obviously.
Thanos, of course. But like I think Core here is like it's actually a really, really good character. Like, I think they actually give. It's what Christopher Eccleston wasn't given with Malekith in the Dark World.
I will admit, in the Dark World, Christopher Eccleston could be anybody. Like, it really is just there, and I do like the aesthetic, and I do like what it's bringing, but it's not the most memorable part of that movie.
Yeah, whereas I think this one does.
There's a lot of,
Bale has something to sink his teeth into, something to bring to the movie.
And also visually, like, he is a really well-constructed, well thought out villain in terms of silhouette, in terms of look, in terms of the use of light and dark, and there's a few really creepy moments that he chooses to lean in with the physicality, which is a very Christian Bale thing to do.
And I loved the backstory.
Yeah.
I really like it. There was a moment when you see in the backstory, and I was like, oh, I hope they go in this direction. And then they do, and you're like, oh, that's good.
Tasty.
That's really, really tasty. Yeah. Let's get some final thoughts.
Okay.
Kind of where are you placing it in your Thor canon, and sort of where are you thinking about sort of overall MCU?
Well, my Thor canon is tricky because I love him. Because you can't give me a long-haired Viking god whose eyes light up with thunder and tell me that I have to rank them because they're all great. The word space Viking magic was said a lot in this film, and that's what draws me. That's what draws me. I want it. I think for me, it's better than the first Thor, better than Thor 2. I would put it on par with Ragnarok. I would think it's, if not a little under.
That's what I would think I'd place it slightly under Ragnarok, maybe a little bit less, but it is better than the first two movies. So I think Thor has now, it's found a style. Yeah. And it's Waititi.
And I think it's something that you do want to see on a big screen, specifically because I think because it's so beautiful and because it's so colourful, and because not just it's colourful, the way it uses colour is really smart. you want to get that crystal proper projection.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We didn't see it on IMAX, but you did see it.
I did see it on IMAX. Yeah.
And you said it was stunning.
My God. It was incredible from the first shot.
Yeah, I did thoroughly enjoy it though. I had a really, really good time with it. So yeah, thumbs up from me. But we also got the chance to speak with one of its stars, Tessa Thompson. TT, who is wonderful.
She's amazing.
In the movie.
She's amazing.
And here's what she had to say.
Yourself and Natalie Portman both play pretty epic female roles in Thor Love and Thunder. What is your favourite thing about playing such a strong female superhero, and how did you decide when filming what qualities a strong female superhero would have?
I've always thought, I mean, obviously there's like a certain amount of strength, and we both got, as big and buff as we could get for the movie. So there's a kind of physical strength to bring to the character and the strength and agility that they have fighting. But I've always thought in terms of any character, particularly female characters, when people say strong, I've always thought strong should mean that they're well defined, that they're not painted in broad strokes, that they have real definition, and so that they resemble the women that we are, the women that we know. So that's the thing that I find exciting about these two superheroes that happen to be women, is that they have real humanity, that they have stuff going on, that they have self-doubt, that they have that they have edges. I think that's the thing that makes them the strongest, and those are kind of the only characters I really want to play. So I feel really lucky that I get to play it and get to watch my good friend and also such a tremendous actor do it with me. Natalie.
Of course, it's not just Thor that's in the cinema. You can check out Minions: The Rise of Gru, Lightyear, The Black Phone,
Jurassic World Dominion, and my old fave, Top Gun Maverick.
But Dan, you say that Top Gun is your old fave. Oh, okay. Is this your pick of the week then? Thor?
What, Thor, yeah.
Yeah.
It's Thor.
Yeah.
He's got his lovely hair and lovely shoulders. And Natalie Portman's got her lovely hair and lovely shoulders.
Yeah. We didn't actually get to speak about Portman much in the review there, but she is. Yeah, it's really nice to see her back into the MCU fold.
Yeah.
So yeah, big thumbs up.
They've earned her.
They really have actually. I think, and I think that time she had away. Felt like she was not anti-MCU, but Marvel were anti-her.
She has standards, and they have met them.
Yes, I think that I would agree with that. Yeah, so Thor's my pick of the week as well.
Yeah, good.
And when you're checking out Thor: Love and Thunder this week, it's warm weather now.
It is quite, isn't it?
For Britain at the very least, anyway. And I've seen that there is a very big trend now of iced coffees.
Yeah.
Which are not for me.
I'm iced coffee all year round, dead of winter.
I would actually prefer. I was thinking about this morning when I was getting a coffee, for coffee shops to pack it in. Stop trying to make fetch a thing. It's not working.
Not only do I have iced coffee, I have cold brew.
Just pack it in. However, icy.
Okay.
An actual cold, refreshing drink.
A drink built around the ice.
Yes. That I'm all in for.
You're in support.
Yes. And Cineworld and Icy have got a brand new flavour that you can check out this summer. Let's take a look.
Hi, what can I get you, sir?
What he really wants, what I gotta have now from you. What he's gotta have right now. What I really want in my hands, oh yes, please. What it really just comes down to is an icy. It's a mango and passion fruit icy. A mango and passion fruit icy. It's a mango and passion fruit icy. Oh yeah, icy. A mango and passion fruit icy. It's a mango and passion fruit icy. It's a mango and passion fruit icy. Oh yeah. It's a mango and passion fruit icy.
Here you go, sir.
Thanks.
Tickets are on sale now for DC League of Super Pets, available in Super Screen and 4DX. I had a friend of mine who went to an advanced screening of this movie yesterday, and her words for this were, I had a really good time with it. I didn't think I was going to, but I actually had a really good time with it.
I've been seeing the trailers around. I've been like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. I like the idea of that.
Actually, as we were leaving the cinema, I heard a trailer being played for it. Yeah. And it had bum, 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 bum. And I was like, oh, okay, actually, maybe this is how you get me back in.
It'll be a bit of fun.
It looks fun, doesn't it? We also have an unlimited screen on Thursday, 19th of July, of Where the Crawdad Sings at 7:30.
And we have some event cinema that you won't want to miss. The National Theatre production of Prima Facie is on July the 21st. Westlife, live at Wembley Stadium, is on August the 6th. And the National Theatre's production of Much Ado About Nothing is on September the 8th.
But that's all we've got time for on this week's edition of the show. Please do click the links in the video description down below to check out any of the movies that we have discussed today. And if you enjoy these two idiots waffling back and forth, there's more of that in the audio podcast realm, available on all good and bad podcast platforms. But until then, I've been Luke Owen.
Lovely shoulders.
And that's what's on.